briefly and let him go. He's a busy man. And Les, your opinion of this, Kim Hart, who's really heading a lot of this up, doing a great job. What should they do? I'm going to send you the retainer. We appreciate you working on the case. Are you going to call this swamp thing? Are you going to call this creature here in Buda and try to ferret out what they're doing, what their game plan is? They said they'll talk to the lawyer. They won't tell them anything because they're just slaves. Where all this is going. Any ideas of how this should progress? Do they go back to their house and wait for them to send the SWAT team? Because they'll make up false allegations too. What do they do?
Well, first off, you go back and you let them make the mistake. That's my home. I'm not afraid to be in my home. I cannot stop the state of Texas from doing something illegal. Force them to make the mistake. Yes, I will call CPS. I'll probably get the same answering machine that Janet's gotten, but I will call.
No, I talked to her this morning. She said she talked to you. It was yes, sir, now that I made some phone calls yesterday and they looked me up. So, I think they may want to move on. Like they thought this was a gazelle. They found out it was a tiger. They're going to move on to some other little poor family and corner them, and which is the pain to know this is just going to keep going on. But I think they're finding out this is kind of a porcupine they tried to eat instead of a nice little juicy gazelle.
Which, does CPS want to do an interview? Is that what's up?
Yep.
Well, you are the lawyer, and I'm sure that I don't mean to step on any toes, but if they're going to go back, wouldn't you potentially also suggest third-party witnesses upon arrival and tape recorders in plain view?
Well, obviously tape recorders, but the answer is there's not going to be an interview without me present. Clients aren't talking to them.
Correct. I'm not talking. Never mind. That's not what I was talking about. But if, in fact, when they first just show up at the door, tape recorder in hand, so that they are a little bit more accountable.
Oh, by the way, I even have a little digital camera that shoots video. I'll give you the big camera. I'm going to give you, loan you one of the small cameras that'll shoot for like 30 minutes. So you can just flip it on and it'll be on camera and record that way. You've got to have that ready. And let them know. I found in my experience, be calm but focused. Go, look, you guys are already in enough trouble violating our rights. We've got a lawyer. We've gone to the doctor report. This is all made up. You told her to lie. You're going to probably be getting our tort letters soon. You need to back off. Or don't even come to the door. What would you do, sir? What would you do, Kim?
Well, first off, you go to the door, and the answer is, where's your search warrant? I'm not talking to you. Where's your search warrant?
And you say let them make the mistake. I've seen a lot of cases where they'll go ahead and, especially the Nellies, will go ahead and force their way in, kind of following their stomach. They'll kind of just worm in. How do you deal with that when they do that?
The neutral place where you can argue this is a courtroom if it comes to that. You're not going to win with one of these people at the door. If they want to make the mistake on camera, on tape, let them make the mistake. But the answer is, where's your search warrant? You don't have the right just because you're CPS.
And they'll keep banging on the screen saying, there may be abuse. Let's not, let me in. It'll be fine. Just let me in and then it'll be all right. You're going to go to jail if you don't. You're going to go to jail. And you just say, that's a terroristic threat. That's a lie. What do you say then?
The answer is, you're not coming in without a search warrant. I don't care how long you pound. Make them go and commit to something. Let them go to the police and say there's abuse going on in there. What's the probable cause to believe that there's abuse happening in my home?
Yeah.
Make them make the mistake. It's like when you get pulled over on the side of the road by a cop. You're not going to win there. Let them write the ticket and go to the courtroom and argue it there, where hopefully cooler heads will prevail. But no good has ever come, in my experience, from talking to these idiots.
Okay, so what you're saying is you're going to put them on notice they've got counsel. I'm going to put their phone number out. I think that's important.
Absolutely.
And from a lot of the experts I've talked to over the years, and I like your aggressive stance. My thing is, if you got the time and money, and Joe's on vacation this week, just split. That way, go to the beach or something, or go to San Antonio, go to the zoo, and then, they'll usually move on to some other child they want to kidnap, so they can do their horrible stuff.
The fact that school is not over, I assume school is not over up in Hays County. It's not over down here.
So you think in the next week they'd try to trump up something? She's only missed 3 days of school. Well, what happens when they put her back in school and cops come in and surround her and they show her the letter and they just snatch it out of her hand and say, you're going to jail unless you say your mommy hurt you, which is what they did. And people have trouble believing this. This is what we've seen on countless interrogation videos.
I have no doubt. I'm aware of similar instances. That's why I said you make a laminated card, size of a business card, have your child carry it. I don't want to say anything without my parent or lawyer being present.
What is this business about them telling her, you can't have your daughter at your house, take her to your mother's? Is that them just trying to take control of the situation?
Absolutely. Absolutely. They don't have a right to do that. Now, they have the right to go to court and file a pleading and say there's an emergency and let somebody swear what the emergency is. Had one within the last couple of months in Galveston where the emergency was the parents refused to talk to CPS. Well, judge promptly said, no, that's not an emergency. And no, that's not grounds to remove the child.
The most destructive ones are when they tell one of the parents they have to divorce the other. That is one that's most distressing because most people are in no emotional state to deal with.
And it's all about splitting up families. It's all about, in their handbook, oh, we're just going to say they're abusive. No judge, no jury, no nothing. You've just got a divorce. I mean, next what? You got to come to my house and cook me a barbecue. Next you got to knit me a placemat set. I mean, they're not God. Are you guys familiar with how the family courts got set up to carry out racial hygiene and eugenics in this country?
I am.
Well, great. Give us your insight on that, because I don't think people understand this. These are the groups that would come and sterilize you forcibly. That's how they're outside the Constitution. This is a criminal, vestigial thing left over from the Hitlerian era that has just grown.
That's right. It's like the syphilis experiments. We're going to pick a class of people that we can use as guinea pigs. And it's been many, many years since I read the stuff on the eugenics and so forth, but the classic abuse to me are the black men who had syphilis and gonorrhea and who were not treated. We're going to see how the diseases progress.
And they told them they were getting treatment, and they let them spread it.
Yeah. But, now we do this in the context of specialized family courts. We have 4D courts because this is where, we now have abuse courts being set up.
Where the Constitution doesn't apply because there was no such thing as family court when the Constitution was written.
Meanwhile, everywhere, teachers now beat students, choke them, hit them, police taser 5-year-olds, and that's all okay. They all have immunity, trying to keep control of society. But then if a parent's kid is running out in the street and you spat them, boom, your kid's gone so that big fat pedophiles can, have their way with them.
Well, it's even more than a parent spanking a kid. I mean, a parent can threaten to take away privileges, and if you get a hypervigilant social worker, they believe these accusations, and
right.
They never question the child. They never question whether or not the child is actually saying something that actually happened to them.
Because they want to break up the family.
Or something that they're putting into the kid themselves.
Exactly. I forgot that. You're not allowed to yell at them now. But it's not a law. They just say we're going to take them.
All of the countries or all of the states have something the equivalent of the child endangerment statute, which I call the maybe might have possibly could have. Unwarranted disciplinary measures, if continued over an extended period of time, might cause damage. Something along that line. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Okay. Kim Hart, Butch Brat, I want to keep in contact with both of you. I want to have you probably back up both tomorrow. We can in part 2 of this, but I'm going to get Janet and Joe to call you right now. Thank you for coming on with us. When we come back, I'm going to give out the websites for falseallegation.org.
Since 1991, the 7 Store has been helping you prepare in the event of an emergency. The 7 Store is unlike any company you have ever seen, offering a complete line of products that will prepare you for any catastrophe. At the 7 Store, we do something very different for our customers. Out of hundreds of preparedness companies in the United States, we are the only one who offers the most complete variety of preparedness items. From storable food, survival, terror and pandemic kits, water storage and self-reliant items, the 7 Store is your place for preparedness. The 7 Plan, our 46-page preparedness guidebook, is your go-to guide to help you prepare for the unexpected. You can get this book with no purchase or